don't think it's a coincidence that New York City has an earthquake on April the 5th. And then we have a solar eclipse that we're looking forward to on April 8th. 3 days apart. The magnitude of the earthquake was 4.8. And I find it so funny, though, people's response to these natural occurring events, because it reflects who we are. It reflects our unresolved conflict that we have internally. And it reflects our own guilty conscience, right? For those who have been responding in ways that are more so inclined with, oh, something bad is going to happen, be careful, and all these things, right? And I remember on Friday, April 5th, when we had the earthquake, I was in a meeting with a colleague, and we were discussing some patient-related things, and all of a sudden, like, there was a rattle. Funny enough, I didn't even respond to the rattle, but she did, right? And this is a white lady, by the way. And she's like, wait, is that an earthquake? Was that an earthquake? And I'm just like unfazed, yo. Like, I'm unbothered. And so there was an announcement that was made when that happened over our intercom system to warn people to not take the elevators, right? And so after our meeting, she was like, I'm coming out with you. So I'm coming out with you to see if the elevators are operational. And everyone is just freaking out. I find it so interesting. When I say everyone, mostly white people. And I've seen a consistent response even on social media where people are saying that all these bad events are going to happen, like we should take shelter. Some people are calling out to work, not to necessarily enjoy the solar eclipse, but in fear of what could possibly happen. And this is the telling part, I would say, about these natural occurring events, right? Because it shows who we are on the inside. It shows our unresolved conflict. Like, what is it about a natural occurring, keyword natural, occurring event, a cosmic shift that is happening in the universe that frightens people? Like, if you are in alignment with the universe and with nature, what do you have to fear? If you are attuned to nature, then you are protected. And above all, you should have a respect for nature. There's a mutual respect. Today, as I was doing these paintings, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute, I spent most of my day painting. Yesterday, I did go out to Midtown and here in Manhattan. I did some shopping, so I'm going to unveil some items that I purchased from this store. But as I'm painting earlier today, I'm watching this travel vlog. And this person, he is in Africa. And he asked the locals there, I think he was in Kenya, and he was visiting the Maasai tribe. And he asked the locals there, what do you do about the animals? Right? How do you protect yourself against the animals? And their response was simply, we don't. If anything, we are in tune with the animals. Our job, our duty is to protect the animals. So to say, how do we protect ourselves from the animals, right? Think about that. Like, that's coming from a fear-based unnatural perspective. If in fact we are called, first of all, if in fact, number one, we are a reflection of the Most High, and then with that, we are called to have dominion over the earth plane, I find that very interesting, people's response to nature, right? Like, why are you afraid? To be afraid basically reveals that you are not in alignment with nature. It can't be. And it's saying I have slow connection. So when that happens, usually my video, it gets disrupted, and so my video and sound are not in sync. I don't know if they are or not, but let's see. So I love the local's response to his question. He's just like, we don't protect ourselves, right? Like, we are their friend. They are our friend. Speaking of the lions. So what is there to be afraid of? For those who are watching this, like, what is there to be afraid of? If anything, I think the closer you are, the more in tune you are with nature, the more you anticipate things like this happening. And the less it becomes a surprise to you. It should not be alarming. But it goes to show who is and who isn't. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this video here. So I am a bit exhausted because painting is exhausting, okay? I say this to my colleagues, my treatment team members at work, because I see some patients for individual therapy, and with that, I use painting as a medium to connect with them, right, and to deliver my therapeutic interventions. And when I'm done, I'm exhausted. And the patient is exhausted, right? She usually goes to lie down in her bedroom. I work at a hospital. And so painting is definitely very exhausting. But while I'm doing it, again, like I said, for me, painting is a way for me to release, a way for me to ground myself. And I took up painting during the pandemic when we all had to shelter in place, right? And they were saying that we couldn't leave our houses unless it was an essential purpose that we were leaving for, right? Like for food. So I picked up painting as a hobby, and to this date, I've lost count of how many paintings I've done, but I know I've done, it has to be by now over 200 paintings, and I started this hobby back in 2020, right? So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So this is the first painting here, and I have a few things to say about this particular painting, especially with the color, right? The color definitely stands out. These are vibrant, contrasting colors. And by the way, I want to say most of these colors that you will see here, and I have 5 paintings, by the way, they are mixed colors, right? So I get very creative sometimes, and I like to just mix different colors. But here I chose to use green as the skin tone. And if anybody knows anything about our history, right? Ancient Egyptian history, they say the complexion of our skin was originally green, right? Like plant life, like nature essentially, right? So how do we end up with brown skin? I don't know, but very interesting. So I chose to do that. And when I started doing the background, I kind of got carried away. So you may or may not notice a quote unquote mistake. And I always like to say there are no mistakes when it comes to art, because that's what makes it art, right? It's just free flowing. Sometimes art can be unpredictable. It's intuitive, right? as opposed to science. So it's no concrete way to do art necessarily, right? It's just what comes from your heart, essentially. But if you guys can see, and of course the picture here is reversed because I am live, but here on this side, um, I began to do these symbols very close together. And I noticed that I was like, wait, as compared to the other ones, they were like really close together. So I decided to basically start over, and I repainted the background with the yellow paint. And then actually it's a mixture, so it's like yellow, orange, I think some red tone in there. And so I ended up repainting that, and then I just recreated those. So you might see a little different color, shade of yellow there compared to the rest of the background. But I love the way this turned out. I feel like all of my paintings just have personality and character. Um, one of my followers pointed out, and this was like years ago, he said that the most common motif amongst all your paintings is that it's a feminine uh, quality, right? And I'm like, I had to think like, wait, he's right. All of these paintings are mostly women. Granted, we have the two gods back there, Osiris and Isis. So he's a male, obviously, masculine, divine masculine energy. And I'm looking at some masks I have up there, and I think maybe two of them are men. But most of my paintings are depict like the feminine, divine feminine. So I love it. Definitely has attitude. Looking up at the solar eclipse. All right, this is the next one. This can be gender neutral. I don't really look at paintings as feminine or masculine, but given someone else pointed that out, now I do. I have fun painting this one. I'll show you guys the one I had the most fun with, but this was pretty fun because of the different colors for the headpiece there, and then the detail in the neck piece, the lips, the eyes, just all the way around. I love the color that I use for the skin tone here. It's a mixture. So I think I have like some, what do I have here? I know it's like red. I'm trying to remember what color. I have like two different color reds that I use for the skin. I have maybe bronze, copper, a mixture. The lips, I believe, are gold. Old gold, I think it's called. But it was simplistic. I intentionally decided to do the more simplistic ones first to kind of warm up my hands, my fingers, get into motion, because I have some other paintings that are coming that are a little bit more detailed and more complex. And so I didn't want to save those all the way to the end because I'll be more tired, but I didn't want to start out with those either. So they're coming up in the middle here. But I like it. So this one, I had lots and lots of fun with her. Now this camera unfortunately does not do justice to the detail in her face. Maybe if I come a little bit closer, let's see. But I am going to take a picture of these paintings and I'm going to post it on my Facebook page and my album. So let's see if you can see, but yeah, it's a lot of detail in her face, some detail like in her neck piece. This was fun, and I kind of just freestyle her hair design. Yeah, multiple colors. It's white, it's turquoise, it's like sky blue. It's a mixture. Definitely had fun with utilizing a variety of colors here in this piece. looking so serious. And when I drew these maybe like probably 3 to 4 weeks ago. I think I also posted the drawings, actually, the sketches on my Facebook page in the album, my art album. But after I drew it, I noticed like, wait, her lips kind of look like mine. This side profile kind of looks like me a little bit. Definitely her lips though. I love it. Now the next one, I don't know which one is my most favorite. The third one that I just showed you, or this fourth one here. I don't know. I like all of them though. This is the next one. I think this might be my most favorite. I had lots and lots of fun. It's just, oh my gosh, the colors. It's the colors for me. Um. Oh, so I wanted to say for this one, I intentionally went out to Michael's the other day it was, and got like a very two fine brushes, like very tiny, where I could actually be able to do like the small details on her face. So I did that specifically when I got that. Because the other paintbrushes, I have like an array of different paintbrush sizes, but I'm like, they weren't fine enough for me to be able to capture the detail accurately. So I had to go out and get those two paintbrushes, and I was so pleased when I was using them. I'm like, it felt so good because I could confidently be able to make small strokes or dots without making a mistake. Whereas when I was using the bigger size brushes, I should really have been using those prior. I'll be messing up like big time. So yes, honey, yes. I love it. I love it. I love her eye. What I did with her eye there. I think I used gold inside her eye, lips. First, I initially painted her lips red, but I'm like, oh no. And the thing I find very peculiar about these paints is that some paints, the ones that you wouldn't really expect, you're able to kind of use to paint over dark ones. Like, for example, white. You wouldn't think that white would cover dark colors like red or even black, but the white actually does. I find it pretty interesting. So yeah, I started out with red for her lips, but I ended up changing it to white. And I love it. Now, most of my paintings are inspired by other pieces of art that I've seen on social media, but I add my own little flavor and twist to it too. So it's not exact, but it is inspired. Her earring. I had fun with her hair design. Alright, and then the very last one is something that looks nothing like this motif, these four here that I just showed you guys. Um, Bam! I should have named these. Funny enough, you probably can't see, but the color of her hair was gonna be white, all white. But then, being that she was the last to be painted, right? My palette was it was a mixture of colors just spread all over my palette, and I had really no room for the white to do her hair, so I ended up like putting the white, like squeezing out some white paint over some other mixtures of paint, and so I get the color that I got, which is like sky blue turquoise. It's a really cute color, but it's not pure white, so to speak. But her eyebrow, uh, her eye outline, and her lipstick, her neck piece, they're all white. So I like the way it turned out though. And I reflect back like when I lived in Atlanta, Georgia. I lived in Of course, born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. And I asked myself, like, if I was still living there, would I have tapped into painting? Like, granted, I've always been inspired by other people who paint, right? Like, and I see it on social media, and I said, like, I always said to myself, like, I'm gonna do that. I should paint, but I had never done it until the pandemic happened. So, thanks to the pandemic, some good things that came out of the COVID pandemic. But I don't know if I would have taken to painting. And I am an artist. Like, I write, I create stories, but and I feel like I'm getting better. So even looking at the paintings I did behind me, I feel like I've definitely made some progress. You can tell. And me just stepping outside of my comfort zone and taking risks. Alright, so those are that, and then I'm going to take a picture of each of those paintings and the actual orientation. I'll post it to my Facebook page. Alright, let's get into this little mini shopping haul. So I was on Instagram the other day, and I came across this ad for a jumpsuit, right? So I look up like the company, and lo and behold, they're based here in New York. And I end up on what street is that? It was like Midtown, close to Chelsea. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this the fashion district? But anyway, so I came across this store, and I just thought they had the cutest Jamaican attire. It was actually a wholesale store, so almost like every store on this street, they sold wholesale items. And of course, I'm not like a retail person, but I was just like, I just want to buy a single. So I thought this was cute, especially getting ready for the springtime. It is a dress. I'm not going to try it on here, but I love it. Let's see, does it say where it was made? Made in Thailand? Okay. A lot of my clothes that I purchase, like my ethnic attire, is made in Thailand. So I'm not really surprised. Alright, so this is one. So I did some research, and apparently the eclipse is supposed to, we're supposed to be able to see the eclipse here in New York City around 3. It says actually 3 p.m. on the dot. I'm like, interesting. I have a meeting that starts at 3 p.m. And then, on top of that, they say it's supposed to last an hour. I'm like, did I read that correctly? An hour? That seems a bit long for an eclipse. This one came with a head wrap. I love the colors in this. It's like a caftan, something that I probably would not wear out. It's only inside the house, but I like the color. I like the design. I had to get this. And I think it might be the same exact design on the back too. Two-sided. One thing I like about New York City, there's a lot of things I love about New York, but it's the fashion for me. I feel like they got the best fashion here, hands down. Hands down. No wonder they have New York Fashion Week here, which is one of the largest fashion trade shows in America. I like the way the bottom is made. to wear this out, but listen, I have to wear like something underneath. So I feel like it will be see-through. And it will have to be really, really hot outside. Very, very hot. Yep. It's nice, right? Material is like, what kind of material is this? It's like nylon. This was made in India. It has a head wrap that came with it. And then, next one, let's see. I think this one is similar. To the first one. I already have a dress kind of like this. Only the difference is it has sleeves. So my other dress I have like this, the sleeves like come here, like short sleeve. But yes, honey, I feel like this. We have a long winter. It is still cold out here in New York, like in the 40s, and we are in April. So I am so looking forward to the summer, to some warm weather. But yeah, this is cute. And so each of these were $20. Not bad. And he didn't charge me tax. But I got these from actual wholesale store. I'm trying to remember what street. Was that West 24th Street? Something like that. But if I had got these wholesale, it probably would, I don't know. Like, let's say if I bought like 100 at a time, it may not be like $20. It may be like $10 or something. And then, let's see, I have one more thing here, which is a package I ordered from this store that I found on Instagram called Jimmy Lion that sells Basquiat wear, socks in particular. These are so cute. Oh my gosh, look. I love it. So they are long, by the way. They're like knee high. They are knee high, rather. Yes, honey. So I got this pair, blue, and then black. It's the same design on each side. Let's see. Right on my alley. I don't know what I'm gonna wear these with. I'm gonna find something. And people always been complimenting me on my my dress, my attire. And I tell them like, listen, I ain't always been into fashion, but I stepped into it. It was LA. LA did it for me. Every city I lived in, it brought something out of me. Like living in Atlanta, I got into the film industry. I got a chance to meet a lot of actors, A-list, B-list, producers. That's where I got my feet wet when it came to the whole filmmaking thing. New York just very multifaceted and multiplicity of things that it pulled out of me living here in New York City. LA, it was me getting into the fashion. So, yeah. Because I know staying where I was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, I don't think it would have did it. I just would have been the same old plain Jane, regular degular Danielle. So definitely attribute what you guys see here this beautiful, multifaceted, multi-talented individual. I attribute that to the environment, the different places that I've lived, and I've said like recently, like, where should I go next? Because I feel like New York. Listen, I love New York. New York City will always be home, but I feel like I'm kind of outgrowing my space. I definitely feel like I've outgrown like this actual physical space I live in right now. Of course, I can move to another space, but I'm just like, you know, that's me though. My personality. I kind of get bored, and I got bored with Atlanta. I lived there for 3 years. I moved to New York. And then I moved to LA after living in New York City for 2 years when I first moved here in 2014. And moved to LA 2016. You know, of course, I went to LA on a mission to complete my doctoral studies, and then mission accomplished. And it's just like, okay, back to New York, which I always planned to come. Because New York City is just very culturally inclusive, and for me, having an identity that is very salient, ethnic identity that's very, very salient to me, being African American, that is a major component, right? It's a big factor in determining where I choose to live. Because I feel like it has to be a city that embraces or at least makes room, right? You don't really have to embrace or celebrate, but make room for us as Black people, African American people. And I feel like New York City, it does that, right? It's New York City. Without it goes without saying, New York City is just this salad bowl. Some will call it a melting pot of different cultures, ethnicities, languages, traditions, nationalities. It's just like you can be who you are here, because the so-called dominant race, white people, are just used to people from all over the world here, right? So they're more acclimated, they are more accustomed or acculturated to other ethnic groups, whereas places like LA is cool for what it's worth, but from my experience living in LA, and it makes sense because LA, the Black population is lesser. It's like Black people make up only 11% of the population in LA, whereas here in New York, I want to say it's like a fourth of the population in New York City, and then within Brooklyn, Black people make up like a third, I believe, of the population in Brooklyn. So definitely much more diverse and culturally inclusive. So that makes a difference, right? It's like you feel the sting of racism less, so to speak. But having said that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. And I'm curious to see what will happen tomorrow. I'm excited about this solar eclipse. See if I'm going to be able to see it. I do have a meeting that starts at 3 o'clock, but maybe I can be a couple of minutes late to be able to experience the darkness. To be able to experience and feel the solar eclipse, right? It's just, I feel like it's amazing. And as they say, as above, so below. So those who get it, get it. We are in alignment with what's happening. But on that note, I'll catch you all later. I love my page. I'm probably going to hang them up tomorrow. They're definitely going to go in my bedroom. I already know what a space that I'm going to put them, like up, high up. But yeah. Wow. I feel so good. I feel so fulfilled and so productive. Today was definitely a productive day. But on that note, I will catch you all in the next one.